Hi, my name is Ariel and this is Mermaid Astrology. Now I'm very excited for this video because this video is my first video on transits. So I know I'm a little late to this Gemini North Node video as it began on May the 4th, 2020. However, it goes to May 18th, 2022, so this video still applies to your life for a very long time. I sort of had some revelations about this transit a few days ago that sort of like smacked me in the face, so I was like, even though I'm late about it, I'm going to talk about it. So with the North Node in Gemini, that means that the South Node is in Sagittarius, which is where I'm going to start. So the South Node in Sagittarius is what we're leaving behind in society before we move into the North Node in Gemini. So I feel like it's important to explain what we're leaving behind first before I explain what we're moving into. I'm a big fan of understanding oppositions in astrology. I think it makes everything easier if you can understand opposites. So understanding the sign of Sagittarius helps to better understand what the North Node in Gemini means. So if the South Node is what we're supposed to leave behind, let's ask ourselves, what are some of the more negative qualities of Sagittarius? It's dogma. It's blind belief in something you really know nothing about. It's the blind belief that you think everything's gonna be okay because you don't want to accept the reality of the situation and what can actually happen, and then being really disappointed when things don't go your way. Are we starting to see a pattern with 2020 here? Sagittarius is about ignoring the little details so you can see the big picture. But because you ignored all those little details, you can't see like the big picture clearly. It's not believing other people when they actually try to tell you what the reality of the situation is because you believe in your heart so deeply for something to be true. It's believing your heart over your head. So we are seeing these patterns. We are seeing these bad traits of Sagittarius in society right now. I think a lot of people have a lot of blind belief right now in institutions that they see as bigger than themselves, like celebrities or politicians or religion or spirituality, etc. Basically anything that you believe is bigger than yourself. Now, these blind beliefs and institutions are getting taken away from people and they don't know how to handle it. That's because these institutions that you have chosen to believe are bigger than yourself actually aren't. They don't have power unless you choose to give your power over to them. Realizing that these institutions aren't actually more powerful than you, I mean, it sounds weird to say, but a lot of people who are coming to these conclusions, it's hurting them in a lot of ways. Everyone sort of had these big Sagittarius beliefs coming into 2020, like this is gonna be my year, for no other reason that then they believed it to be true and now are really disappointed by the reality of this year. And a lot of people don't know how to handle that disappointment. So they're acting out in these really childish, fiery, just immature ways that Sagittarius at its worst can act like when it's not happy. We have a lot of people who have looked over a lot of those little details thinking that they see the big picture when they really don't. I'm going to use politics as an example, though you can really apply this to any institution, not to actually get political. Though I don't really think it's political. I think it's more of a spiritual examination of politics. We have a lot of people who barely pay attention to politics. The most that they see politically, it's like a few sound bites, or they see a few headlines from scrolling through Facebook or through Twitter, which, I mean, they're already reading just the headlines in itself, which is, very little, but then the algorithm is already more geared to them because the websites know what they click on, or they're looking at political headlines that are from people in their social circle, so they're only getting the political perspectives of people that already have the same perspective as them. They really don't spend a lot of time, looking at politics. They spend more time watching reality TV or playing video games that are just rotting their brain. But they think they know what's going on politically. They think that they see the big picture when they don't. If you try to give them some more information, like here's an article to read that maybe is different than your opinion, they get really upset and they get really angry because it's more comfortable for them to remain in their bubble than to actually expand their knowledge. They have an emotional reaction that's based on beliefs, not a reaction that's actually based on the logic of the situation. Now, if you're watching this and you're like, oh, I know so many people like that, you know, maybe you're like this too, and you just refuse to see it, because that's going to be a big theme, is there's a lot of people like this, and they refuse to see that about themselves. So if you're one of those people who refuses to admit there's maybe stuff out there that you don't know politically, you're probably the person I'm talking about. Like I said before, though, this doesn't just relate to politics. I just wanted to give one example that I felt like everyone could relate to. You can apply this to a bunch of other areas of life too. Like, think about celebrities. We have all these people who spend their life obsessed with famous people and then get online and then argue about famous people and argue about who's better. And I'm like, do you even really know these people? You've never met this person. This is your perception of them. You know what you see in the media, but you actually don't know the details about that person, because you can't know the details about someone you've never met. But yet they're really opinionated on their beliefs that they know who this celebrity is and that this celebrity is like the best. So for everything else I'm about to go into, think of it kind of like that. Think about things that are on this grander sort of scale. I don't want you to just be stuck on politics and celebrities, though. It can be anything on a grand scale. Anything that's basically a big picture type of scenario. Now, some people in our society are sort of starting to move away from these negative Sagittarius South Node qualities. Not everyone will. Now, what the South Node and the North Node does is the North Node is trying to pull you out of that South Node to make you better. But you don't have to be. That's the difference between the nodes and Saturn. Saturn, you don't have a choice. It's going to force you to be better. The nodes don't force you to be better. You have to make the choice to be better. They give you the opportunity to be better, and you would feel a lot more fulfilled and better about yourself if you did, but you don't have to. A lot of people will prefer to stay in this South Node energy instead of moving to the North Node, because moving to North Node energy, it's scary. So until January of 2022, we're going to see a lot of people still embracing these South Node qualities, and we're going to see others move into the North Node. And I'm not going to lie, if you're someone who's moving into more of the positive North Node qualities, it's going to be exhausting, and it's going to hold a lot of people from moving into those North Node qualities, because you're seeing a lot of other people negatively, and you don't want to, and that's exhausting. You're going to easily get frustrated with people, because it's a lot easier to fit in with the masses than to stand out from them. So if all of this is the South Node Sagittarius, I'm sure you're wondering, okay, well, what is the North Node in Gemini? And I mean, it gets a little bit tricky, because Gemini is the trickster of the zodiac. This South and North Node combination is honestly kind of a mess, because both signs are kind of chaotic. Coming into the North Node in Gemini basically means like leaning into that chaos and finding a better version of chaos. There's no way to avoid it right now. It's basically about choosing better chaos for yourself. I know a lot of you are probably like freaking out hearing that, but I'm just telling you the truth. I don't want to sugarcoat it for you. That's a big part of what this transit is about, being logical and not sugarcoating things. Speaking of lying, that is a big theme for Gemini. Gemini is the best liar of the entire zodiac. So you're going to have a lot of people lying to you. Right now, it's going to be a harder time telling what's truth from fiction. And you are going to believe some lies that people tell you. There's just no way around it. That's why you need to keep your mind open that circumstances change, so the truth might change. If you're hanging on to your beliefs and your dogma, then you're going to get swept up in deception. The more you open up your mind instead of your heart, the easier it's going to be able to tell when people are lying to you. Because when you have an open mind, it's easier to see the possibility of someone else lying. The main way you're going to be lied to right now is by being presented with information as if it's factual. Because if you already believe something is factual, then your mind is already closed off to other possibilities, and your mind is closed off to the possibility you're being lied to. When you're only presented with one possibility, it's the easiest way to close off your mind. People are going to be saying to you, well, this is the facts of the situation. So if you don't believe the facts of this situation, then you're just dumb. There's going to be a lot of people trying to gaslight you about your intelligence. People are going to try to make you feel bad for thinking for yourself. Facts and figures can be manipulated. Numbers themselves, depending on how you present them, can be manipulated. And there's going to be people who don't even actually know the facts and figures really that they're talking about, but they're going to present it to you as truth. So don't just believe what people tell you, because I mean, even if they're not intentionally lying to you, I think a lot of people are going to be confused about what the truth is right now. So if someone tells you something, go and do research on it. And I don't just mean like reading half of one Facebook article and being like reading the first few sentences and being like, oh, I got it. I mean, do genuine research. Read a bunch of different articles about one subject. Now is the time to do critical thinking, and that includes critical thinking about your own thoughts and your own biases. The people who learned to think critically this time, the people who were open to changing their minds about their long-standing beliefs, those are the people who are really coming in and embracing this Gemini North Node. Gemini isn't afraid of change. Gemini likes change. Gemini changes its mind all the time. It's okay to change your mind when you're presented with new information. It doesn't make you dumb for believing something for so long. It's dumb to refuse to change your mind because you're so stuck in your beliefs. What's smart is that you could have hung on to a belief for such a long time, and when you see you're wrong, you're actually willing to change your mind about it. It's so much worse to keep believing some lie for the rest of your life than to change your mind in your 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s, etc. So be someone who's willing to question yourself and question your beliefs, and you will come out of this Gemini North Node as a better person. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully everyone's okay. I know that was a lot and it might be hard for some people to hear, but like I said, I think it's important. If you like this video, I will be doing more transit videos in the future. I've got one on Saturn and Aquarius coming up. I've got one on the age of Aquarius coming up. Also got a lot of natal chart stuff going on. So if you're not already subscribed, subscribe down below so you can see when those pop up. Thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.